Hey everybody, and welcome to today's News Tonight, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests and our lovely patrons to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host, Ash Paulson, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful friends and GVG co-founders, Steve Bowling and Derek Bittner, along with our very special guest, Hawaii-based content creator, Mekel Kasanova. Mekel, thank you so much for joining us, especially on such short notice. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. It's an honor to be here. Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Of course. It's an honor to have you here. And we both have to thank the gaming and mental health charity Safe in Our World for kind of putting us in contact with one another.
Definitely.
I had not seen your content prior to them putting us in contact, and I really love what I've seen so far, man. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Before we move on to the news, as always, we have a sponsor for today's episode, and that, of course, is Mekel Phone. And Mekel Phone wants to tell you two things. First of all, he wants to say, hey, everyone, play Bugsnax. Seriously. But Mekel Phone has asked us to play Bugsnax, or asked all of us to play Bugsnax so many times. One of us has got to check it out. Hopefully some of you in the audience can check it out too, but he really believes in this game. Also, he wants to ask, are you tired with the negativity in games coverage? Are you looking for a new game to play? Well, good news. Mekel Phone is starting a new series finding all the good in media that's considered underrated, forgotten, or downright mediocre. The first 2 episodes have been released talking about Dead Island and everybody's favorite bobcat, Bubsy. What could possibly go wrong? And once the channel hits 2,500 subs, there will be a very special episode on the Fast and the Furious Crossroads, which I have said before, I personally really want to see. So guys, let's help Mekel Phone get to 2,500 subs. I think we can eventually make it. So Mekel Phone, as always, thank you so much for sponsoring today's episode. We endlessly appreciate it, and we hope you're doing well out there. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the day's news and get that first topic up on screen. And, of course, this just happened today, really. Sony has announced a new general state of play, which is going to be airing tomorrow, February 25th, Thursday, at 2 p.m. Pacific. And just to head off all the questions, yes, of course, we're going to be live reacting to it.
Did you think we wouldn't react to it?
Yeah. In case anyone was wondering or doubting, of course we're reacting to this, as well as something else we'll be talking about later in the show. New general state of play. Mekel, you're our guest today, so I'd love to get your thoughts first. What are you looking forward to seeing in this state of play?
I'm hoping with the state of play, we might get some more news about the next God of War, because I'm just chomping at the bit to find out more about that. And just generally, like, what else is going to come, like, with the PlayStation 5 experience? Because, you know, the PlayStation VR, I know that was announced, was it yesterday at the time of this? And I'm just looking forward to seeing what they're going to do next, because it feels like we're kind of in a lull point for the PS5. And I'm like,
a little.
Just a little bit.
Not a whole lot going on. Returnal was delayed. I mean, we got Ratchet and Clank in June, but up until June, we don't really know a whole lot. It's sort of like people looking at Nintendo like, all you got is new Pokemon Snap. Where's the other stuff? And I think Sony's sort of getting that same look with the PS5. In their announcement, though, it's interesting because they said the State of Play podcast will serve up new updates and deep dives for 10 games coming to PS4 and PS5, including new game announcements and updates on some third-party and indie titles that we saw in June's PS5 showcase, and it's going to be 30 minutes or so. So it's cool to have like an idea. Yeah, we sort of have an idea what's going on. Honestly, my big hope, because I maybe we'll see God of War, maybe we'll see Horizon, maybe we'll see more of Ratchet and Clank. All those would be really cool. Honestly, I really want to see more of Kena.
Yeah.
Kena's the one
that's a good one. Yeah. I really want to see more of Kena. I'm quite excited about that. Of course, y'all know, no one's going to be surprised. The one thing I really want to see is more Horizon Forbidden West. I'm probably as excited for Horizon 2 as you are for God of War, Mekel. Like, I am so excited for Horizon 2. So I really want to see more of this game, but I already know that's coming. I know roughly when it's coming. It's going to be... I roughly know what I'm getting with it. Kena, though, is a bit more of a question mark, and I'm really intrigued by what I've seen so far. So, Derek, I'm right there with you, man. I want to see more of that game.
I'm not sure what it is I'm hoping to see here. Ratchet and Clank, I'm good enough just knowing it's coming out in June. I can wait.
Yep.
I don't need to see more of that game. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Same for Horizon Forbidden West. I would love to see more, but again, I'm already sold. They already sold me this game.
Sure.
I would like to see at least one or two new things, honestly, because that's kind of what I'm waiting for. And they don't even need to be big AAA things. I think we've kind of got 2021 in terms of AAA content for PlayStation 5 mapped out. Because there's no way they're going to just say, hey, we're also developing another huge game. They've got their hands full.
Right.
But I would be cool to get some smaller, like maybe SIE published indie type stuff, just smaller games to kind of pad out that calendar between now and those heavy hitters later in the year. But I think either way, like Derek said, Kena is probably the thing I'm most keen to see an update on.
Oh, nice. I see what you did there.
Yeah. Azran's not here, so somebody had to do it. But yeah, that's probably what I'm hoping for the most is just updates on the games we haven't seen much of, and maybe one or two new things. I'm going in intentionally with low expectations because as Nintendo fans can tell you, going in with high expectations is a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
Yeah. And Danilo and Mini, sorry if I butchered that, State of Plays haven't been very exciting so far, but maybe they'll figure them out one day, tuning in for sure. And that's the thing. I don't think people have as high of expectations for State of Play as people do for Nintendo Directs. I don't think they have something like Smashed hanging over it that people are constantly like, could we get something from this? Could we have this? That said, if we go a little out there prediction, or not prediction, but hope, give me that Ape Escape trilogy. Like that
Nice.
Crash and Spyro got, or as Jared Edinger in the chat said, Spyro 4. I'm okay with that too.
Spyro 4 would be hype. I mean, I'm not predicting this, but I'm always going to hope for this until it happens, even though it probably never will. And that is a Parappa 3 with a new voice actor. I know the current / past voice actor Parappa was kind of outed as not being a particularly nice person, but Parappa the character deserves better, deserves more, deserves a revival.
Yeah.
Come on,
Jamer Lamey
Parappa
too.
3, please. Jamer Lamey as well. I'll take both. Let's just get another Parappa Jammer combination game, man. They should both break out in a new title. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Probably not. But my dream is that one day Parappa does return properly in a game other than a port.
I would love to see like another Legend of Dragoon. Like either a
nice.
full remaster or like a sequel. Like
nobody talks about it. It'd be something else to get a revitalization. Because I played it all the way to the end. I don't remember much of it, but I remember enjoying it.
Yeah. See, Legend of Dragoon's a weird one for me because I got caught up in the hype. Of course, it was obviously trying very hard to cash in on that FF7 hype, and it never really landed with me. The whole time I was playing it, I was like, I feel like I'm just playing something that really wants to so hard to be FF7, but just can't be it. And
it's very true.
It isn't quite getting to that level for
I mean,
me.
I think that was the thing behind it. It's like a Final Fantasy caliber RPG from somebody else.
But it wasn't a Final Fantasy caliber RPG. But I feel like I'm missing something, though, because so many people seem to love this game and have a deep passion for it. Like, it's like a cult following, and I feel like I bounced off of it, so I would like to revisit it and remaster and see if maybe I missed something the first time around.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to revisit it and see if it holds up, because it's been a long time. But I remember enjoying it at the time. But I was also, PlayStation era, I was very easy to please. Like, you give me an RPG, boom, I was there. I was enjoying it.
Nice.
I
will say, I do remember being caught off guard by one particular character's death. Of course, I'm not going to spoil anything, because even though it's an old game, why would I do that?
I forgot that.
So I was taken off, and that was a pretty cool. I was like, oh, wow, I really didn't expect that to happen. But mostly, the game doesn't stand out in my memories, and I would like to see Sony revisit it. That is not the only thing. State of Play is not the only thing Sony announced. They also announced the return of their Play at Home program, which is returning on March 1st, so just only about a week from today, a little less than a week. And that, of course, is going to kick off 4 months of PlayStation game and entertainment offers, starting with... starting on March 1st, you'll actually be able to grab Ratchet and Clank PS4, the remake of the original game, for free. And this you'll be able to do this from March 1st to April 1st, so basically the whole month. And if you download it, it's yours to keep. Though, of course, keep in mind that if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you already have access to this game anyway, so it's not a different game. necessarily.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I kind of have them beat, so whatever.
Yeah.
But it is one thing we have to point out though is that this isn't tied to a subscription. So if you don't have PlayStation
exactly.
Plus, you can still get this for free and keep it forever. Which, by the way, is just an objectively cool thing they're doing. They don't have to do this. They don't have to give us free games to encourage us to stay at home during the pandemic. And as far as I know, Sony's the only one doing anything like this.
I think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are.
And I applaud them for doing it even as the rhetoric surrounding the pandemic is that it's easing up a little. Oh, things are getting a little safer. I'm glad that Sony is still doubling down on saying, hey, no, we're going to give you reasons to stay at home and stay safe until things are truly, several orders of magnitude better than they are currently. Also, starting on March 25th, they're doing a promotion with Funimation where you can get extended access for new subscribers to Funimation or Wakanim in the countries where Wakanim is available. Wakanim is Funimation's European division. So essentially, you're getting also a Funimation subscription starting toward the end of March. Really cool promotion by Sony.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
definitely cool stuff. I already have Funimation, so I don't know if I can take advantage of that, but
Same here.
I already have it. I have it just because I need to be able to watch My Hero.
Right.
Is My Hero not on Crunchyroll anymore? I don't follow.
I mean, I guess it is, but I like the dub, so.
Oh, so I watch subbed on.
And they often do simul dub, so I don't know if it's as common now with the pandemic going on. I haven't checked out new series in a while, but still, I like the dub cast, so
totally fair.
But honestly, Ratchet and Clank as this game makes so much sense. Get people addicted, hooked on this one, and man, that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart looks pretty dang good now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, Ratchet and Clank, even if the remake of the original isn't necessarily the most beloved Ratchet and Clank game, it's still a very good one, I think, and I think you also quite like it, right, Derek?
Oh yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. It's not my favorite in it, but it was gorgeous at the time going from PS3 stuff and finally getting a PS4 Ratchet and Clank and seeing how great it looked.
Right.
So,
well, remember that this is just the beginning. The Play at Home initiative kicks off in March, but it is extending all the way through June. So this is just the beginning of what we're going to get. And as a reminder, last year, Sony just gave away, just like they're doing Ratchet and Clank now, they gave away Uncharted, the Nathan Drake Collection, and Journey, just for people to be able to play them and stay at home, which is really cool again. So,
I wonder what else they would do.
Yeah,
a good idea, actually. Looking at my thing, I already have it, but Gravity Rush wouldn't be a bad idea as like a lesser talked about game.
Well, that'd be a pretty cool one to get.
That would be really good.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Days Gone might be a little too dark in terms of being appropriate for the pandemic, but Days Gone would be thematically appropriate. So
I wonder if they're gonna double or triple dip on the PS4 collection though for PS5 owners, because that Days Gone is already part of that as well. The PS Plus collection, sorry.
Right. That's true. It is. Yeah.
I mean, they could pull from those games and just here's 4 of these part of the collection that you can now have forever. There you go.
Yeah.
Which
I was looking for something in a chat that I saw and it's gone. Okay.
I've seen people mention Horizon, Bloodborne.
Horizon would be
Skull Kid Tiger, Infamous.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Skull Kid Tiger, welcome. I wanted to extend you a warm welcome. You are new in our chat, and I just wanted to say thank you for joining us in our live audience tier. And we hope to see you come back for many more episodes.
Skull Kid Tiger is actually our newest executive producer.
Yes, and you will have your name called out at the end of the episode. So no worries, we've got you down. Moving on with Sony news, there is yet more Sony news, and Mekel, I think you brought this up a little earlier about the next gen VR system that they announced yesterday, I believe. And they haven't said that it's going to be called like PSVR 2 or Plus or anything. They're just saying it's their new VR system. But it's going to, of course, enhance everything. Visual fidelity. It's apparently going to use a single cable connection, which is both exciting and a little disappointing, I think. And it's also going to use a new controller that incorporates DualSense features, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
I've never had PSVR myself because it had too many wires. I couldn't justify adding like 1 billion wires to my setup. But a single wire setup is exciting. I just kind of was hoping it'd be wireless. just a little bit. But what about you guys?
Oh, I was like, when you said one wire, which is disappointing, like, did you want more wires?
No,
like,
no,
I was so confused.
I'm being way too like choosy. Like, yes, I should be happy for a one-wire PSVR solution. I was just kind of hoping it would be wireless. That's all.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a few VR solutions. I like VR, but I would say that PSVR is probably my least favorite. Not because of the number of cords. I mean, frankly, most VR solutions have like 3 cords right now, which is annoying. But the thing that I like least about it is that they really cheaped out on the face gasket, which, if you don't know, like each VR has kind of like a cushion for your face so that when it's up against your face, you don't sweat a bunch and it doesn't irritate your skin. And I don't know why, but Sony is the only one that I know of that uses rubber for that. And it is the worst. It is the most irritating thing to stick your head into. So I can't wear it for more than like 10 minutes without it starting to just mess with my face. And so I hope that is something they're considering changing. But I never expected wireless because if you look at the PC VR headsets out there, wireless by itself is like a $300 add-on to those things. It is ridiculously expensive. So they would have had to have designed the PS5 in a way kind of similar to the Wii U, which sounds weird, but like to include some type of wireless video transmission tech to lower the cost of the headset. And I don't think Sony did that. So you would be looking at a similar like $300 add-on. Plus you'd have to charge the headset. I think it would come with its own set of frustrations. As well as just a dramatically increased price. I'm okay with it. I'm hoping, my hope is that one cord goes into that USB-C port on the front of the PS5.
That'd be ideal. That'd be
that would
perfect.
Right. Yep. Just put it right on the front of the system so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to reach around the thing and plug it in. And, but I will say what you said about those controllers, that's the thing I'm most hyped for because the DualSense is my favorite controller, and I'm sure we've converted Derek to a believer now.
The funny thing, I only played half of Astrobot. I haven't been focusing most of my time on Persona 5 Strikers, so I haven't got to experience it too often, but I still remember it being pretty amazing what they pulled off with it.
Yeah. Those types of haptics in VR would be dope.
I'm hoping.
What about you, Mekel? Have you played a lot of PSVR, or do you play a lot of VR in general?
Well, okay, so it's very bad, but I do have an HTC Vive that's just collecting dust that I haven't turned on in years. But I do have a PlayStation VR, and the main reason I got it is just because my community wanted me to do Resident Evil 7 in VR. And I'm spoiled because I can only play that game in VR now. Like, that felt to me like the most perfect way to play that game. And after playing like the beta for 5, I'm like, yes, I want, well, not 5, 8. I want that. I definitely want that in VR. But outside of like, Resident Evil 7 and the VR version of like the Astrobot game, that's it. Like, there was nothing that compelled me to want to play anything else. So I'm hoping, it's Beat Saber and whatnot. Like, I just hope that there's some compelling reason to want to spend a couple $100 to get that. But I agree. I hope that it does utilize like USB Type-C into that front port, because setting that up was a pain. That's a lot of cables.
Yeah.
Well, I have not really tried VR at all. Like, I got one demo time where I played the Until Dawn spinoff at a demo thing, and that was fun. That was kind of cool, but that's sort of like the extent of my VR experience. There's nothing that's been pulling me towards it, but if they can find a way to make this easy to set up, affordable, and have something interesting on it, I think I could look into it, maybe, because I am curious about Resident Evil 7 in VR. I mean, and people always say how scary it is, and I'm one of those that are like, well, you get me properly equipped, I'm not that scared. So let's see it. Let's see if what it can do to me. But I think one of the things that Sony could do for this that might get a lot of people talking, I'm not sure if they can pull it off, but if they could get Half-Life Alyx on PlayStation VR, I think that would be huge. Just have that available on more things, especially with the PS5 being a little bit more theoretically simpler to pick up and get and use. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But
I mean, even to be frank, even the PS4 current version of VR is the easiest one to get set up. That's saying, because I mean, when you talk about PC VR, this right here, which has been in the background of every TNT episode, by the way, is a base station for PC VR. So this one specifically is for the Valve Index, and you have to put these in opposing corners of your room, and they have to be hooked up to power, and they have to be able to see you. And that's just the first part of the setup. I won't bore you with the rest, but it is amazing.
It's like an hour to set that up too.
Yep, you have to like point at the ground and scan the floor and then rest them on the floor and make sure that those base stations can see them. It is a lot of work. It's basically why if you don't have a dedicated VR room in your home, VR is a very difficult thing to enjoy. Like my old place, when I lived with my best friend, we had a dedicated theater room and we set up VR in there and we played it a bunch because it was ready to go all the time. But when you face the prospect of setting it up each time you want to play it, you just play other stuff instead.
That's why mine is collecting dust.
Eddie Beals in the chat does bring up an interesting point, though, wondering if Astrobot would be back compatible, and I think that would be a huge component of this upgraded VR system,
or even
for
just
PS5.
Astrobot 2.
Or Astrobot 2, but like there are so many games, or at least quite a few games that those of us who didn't ever have a PSVR missed out on having those VR experiences. Games like Astrobot. I mean, I am a true believer in Astrobot after playing Playroom, and I want to go back and play the original game, Rescue Mission, I think. And not only that, but games like Res Infinite. I played Res Infinite in VR once. It was a magical experience.
Right. Tetris
I want
Effect.
to do it again. Tetris Effect in VR. So I'm hoping that backwards compatibility with PSVR first generation titles is absolutely a thing that is considered for this.
I feel like it has to be, because the other main point that we haven't touched on yet, but the chat has multiple times, is that there is a serious dearth of good VR games. VR games mostly work as a really cool novelty. Like it's almost in a weird sense like the return of the arcade game, the arcade style game, a game that is meant to be played in really small but enjoyable chunks. Versus, the console game where people know you're settled into your couch, you're going to be playing this for hours. VR doesn't do that at all yet, because there are some primary foundational issues to the way VR currently works. Locomotion is a big one. If you're expected to walk, it works a lot better if you're walking, but there's no divorcing yourself from the concept that you are walking around a room in your house and not the place you are in the game. And if you don't walk, then there's the issue of you're standing still, but you're making a character walk in VR, which, at least for me, is incredibly disorienting. I don't get motion sick, but if I'm playing a game where I'm supposed to move a character with traditional analog stick controls and I'm standing still, I want to barf so fast. I mean, it makes me dizzy and sick and bad. There's a ton of other issues, but I mean, one of, the biggest one being that there's just not a lot of games. So if you're going to introduce a whole new VR set, it better work with the stuff you've already put out, because folks are not going to want to spend presumably $200-$300 on this thing and then have to go rebuy content when they already had so little to begin with.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. All good points. Before we move on, Imposter in the chat says, am I crazy, or is there a delay in video compared to the audio for this stream? So I haven't heard anyone else say that, but if anyone else is experiencing that, please let us know.
Yeah, just let us know.
With that said, though,
everybody on my end, their words and their motions seem to be in sync, but YouTube does YouTube things. So
it looks okay on my end, but okay. Seems like from the chat we're good. So sorry about that, Imposter. Maybe try reloading the stream and see if that helps. But moving on, we actually have one more PlayStation-related story, so let's go ahead and get that up on screen.
Yeah, it's practically a state of play
Jim
on TNT.
Ryan has... I know, right? Jim Ryan, to the regret of some, it seems, has confirmed that more PlayStation games are heading to PC later this year, starting with Days Gone this spring. And Mekel, I know we were talking about this before the show, and we were kind of both wondering aloud, why is this upsetting people? Like the more people who are able to play a game, and the wider a game's audience is, the better, I would say, unless you're a console warrior and you're that person, I guess. But otherwise, I see this can only be a good thing.
I mean, the only thing I can think of, like, as far as console wars, if you didn't deal with the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis wars back in the day, you're not experiencing a console war at all. Like, they were going to war with each other back then. But
you're in
this
a
right
console
here,
skirmish right now.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, what controller do you want to use? That's kind of how we're at right now. But like, I personally don't understand the issues that people are having. I saw it all over Twitter, like people just losing their minds about PlayStation games coming to PC, and it's like, why? That gives players, like gamers, more options and availability to game. That's a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's a weird. I never understood gatekeeping at all. It's just never made sense to me. Like, why wouldn't you want to have more people enjoying the same thing as you? I never understood that sort of territorial feeling. The only thing I can think of is, I guess, it makes their purchase of the PlayStation consoles feel less important now, because a lot of people do buy PlayStation consoles for those PlayStation exclusives. That's why I stuck with the PS3 when the 360 was just getting better games at the time, as far as the multi-platform releases. But I'm past the age of caring. It's like, it is what it is. Well, that's all that matters. Yeah. Like, hey, cool, you get to play Days Gone now. You can play Horizon now. Great. You know what? Yeah. I think people would lose their mind if they could get Bloodborne on PC.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play games on PC, but I can only see this as a good thing. And I mean, look, if your enjoyment or your justification of your console purchase is dependent on other people being gate-kept out of the games you can play on your console, there's some rearranging of priorities you got to figure out, man. I don't know what else to say. Just like, it really should not be a big deal for other people to be able to enjoy the games that you're playing on PC. And I mean, the same could be said, this is never going to happen, but like Nintendo games on PC, it's never going to happen. But if more people could experience Nintendo's incredible output, I would see that as a good thing.
Yeah. I think there's another part to this too, and it's that so far all the games we know that are coming to PC are years old. It's not like they just announced Miles Morales is coming to PC, you know?
Good point.
Or even Spider-Man, 2019? Yeah. Spider-Man 2019? Yeah. That's not on PC. Those are arguably pretty huge exclusives. Well, not even arguably. Inarguably, those are massive exclusive games, and they're both, last gen. I mean, if you bought Days Gone when it came out, do you really get to be upset that it came out on another platform now? Like that, it's also. I
mean, I would almost feel like you'd be more upset about it being free if you have the PlayStation Plus thing.
If for some reason Sony making it available in different ways invalidates your purchase, Sony making it available for free to the vast majority of their user base should really piss you off. I just don't understand it. But like all y'all have said, I mean, more people getting to enjoy the thing you enjoy should be cool, because now you have more potential people to like share that enjoyment with, to talk about this cool game with, not be pissed off that somehow, oh, well, now that it's not on PlayStation, it's worthless and my PlayStation is now worthless. Like, bro, 9 out of 10 games that come out on PlayStation are on other things. That's just the reality.
You never hear about PC gamers getting upset about Diablo 2 coming to the consoles.
Whoa. No, hold on.
Oh,
there's a little
really?
place called the Epic Games
actually.
Store.
Yeah.
Right. I was thinking PC to consoles. I forgot about the Steam versus Epic Games Store debacle.
If it's ported to the wrong place on PC gamers get mad. I think people just have. It's always been something that's confounded me. I was a Genesis kid in a sea of Super Nintendo kids when I grew up, and I wasn't pissed. I was like, man, I wish I could get me some of that Super Mario World.
Right? That's what I always wanted. It's like, man,
Exactly.
I want to play Super Mario World. I want to play Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah,
It's-
but
I love my Sonic, but I want both.
I mean, we all knew those
Yeah.
kids, though, that would fall on the sword for the Sega Genesis or whatever console they had in their
Oh,
house.
yeah.
Like, oh, man, Mortal Kombat on the Genesis is better because it's got blood. But yeah, man, it sounds like it's being run through like a tape deck. Like, it ain't great. So I just, and I feel like the internet has just given that kid that we all knew, like,
Yeah.
they have found
Yeah.
each other and formed a massive legion. that
A wider voice,
no.
a much larger
Yes,
voice than
exactly.
they otherwise would have had.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, and I in a weird roundabout way understand it, because $500 is a lot to some people, and some people do have that weird, like, the value of my thing has now dropped now that other people can have it. I don't have the exclusivity of it, but man, it's a dumb argument.
That. It's so dumb. Yeah. Well,
Oh,
let's
well.
move on to something that is decidedly not dumb, because this is actually pretty hype for a lot of people out there. And if you'll, so let's go ahead and get that up on screen. But if you'll recall, in our last episode of Today's News Tonight, we talked briefly about some coy tweets between Nintendo of America and the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 account, and the regular Tony Hawk account, actually. And we speculated that it seemed like the writing was on the wall, that it's going to be coming to Switch. Turns out it is, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. So, there is no date for Switch. It's coming to Switch later this year, sometime in 2021. However, it is also coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S on March 26th, just about a month from now. So, it's a shame that we don't have a date for the Switch version yet, but that also tells me that they're putting in some real effort into the Switch port and not just downgrading it, right? Compared to the next gen versions and current gen, I guess, other current gen versions. So, yeah, Tony Hawk later this year on Switch, but end of March for PS5 and Xbox Series X. Mekel, are you into the Tony Hawk series at all? I know none of us really are. We kind of talked about that last time, but what about you?
I haven't really played. I used to be back
Okay.
in, what was it, 99 to up probably to like 2004, 2005. I think the last one I played was Tony Hawk's Underground. I remember having excitement for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 and seeing how that went. That was, yeah, I didn't even play it. I was like, okay, it's that bad. But I've heard
Yikes.
nothing but great things about 1 and 2 remaster, and
Me
I
too.
just never got around to playing it. But, being able to play that on the Switch is appealing to me, because it's like, wow, 1 and 2, I grew up with that. Like, I remember the X
Right.
Games era, which... yeah, I'm dating myself by saying that. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I mean, I kind of missed out on the Tony Hawk hype back when it was, like back on PS1. It just wasn't really my thing. But these games have so much love behind them, and I happened to catch some gameplay footage of the Switch version, and I'm like, you know what? Even as someone who's not into skateboarding or Tony Hawk or his brand, this just looks fun.
Yeah.
And so
It's
I
a
might,
great arcade experience, because
It
I did
seems
pick
like
up. I heard so much good things about the original back in the day. I picked up the sequel, and I had a really good time playing Pro Skater 2. Never really. I think I went to 3, and then I kind of dropped off from that. But it is still a really good time, and it's makes sense. Put it out on as many things as you can, and that's definitely applying to this. I am curious though what all you think about the to upgrade it from PS4. If you already got the PS4 version or Xbox One version, you can upgrade them, but it's a $10 fee. So you got to pay an extra $10, and then you get them on that system.
Wasn't another game that
mean-
did that? There's like controversy over that. Was it Control? Did something similar?
Control made you
Yeah.
purchase
Control is
the
a-
whole game again.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And then it was available for
Right, I
PS Plus.
haven't used that on PlayStation Plus. I
yeah,
have
that
a
was
PS Plus,
that was
that's
like
fine.
the ultimate fu to people,
Yeah.
making you announcing that you had to buy the game again months before the consoles launched, racking up pre-orders, then becoming like the second free PlayStation 5 PS Plus game. I would have been
Yeah.
pissed.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the $10 upgrade fee. Of course, I wish there wasn't one. At the same time, it is at least better than what Judgment's doing, which is like, screw you, buy the game again if you want it on PS5.
Yeah.
So that's obviously the worst case scenario. But I am looking for more to play on my PS5, and I'd certainly like to check this out. Is it something I'd go play a bunch of? I'm not sure about that, but I gotta say, just seeing that footage, I was like, wow, this seems like it has a really cool pick up and play arcade quality to it that maybe I could appreciate despite not being into skateboarding. I do want to call out some great comments in the chat. Drew A says, Ash, can we hold on to cars in these games? And Classy Mudkit follows that up with Skitchin' on Switch when, and Imposter says Switchin'. And for those of you who are not aware, and we recently did an obscure video games discussion in which one of mine that I picked was Skitchin' for the Sega Genesis, which is literally a cross between skatin' and hitchin'. And it is about rollerbladers who hitch onto the backs of cars, and it's an awesome game. And the whole concept is great, and it's kind of just taken off with its own identity in the GVG community. So
it's also the most 90s ass game ever.
Skitchin' on Switch when? Huh?
I said it's also the most 90s ass game.
Oh yeah,
it is so 90s. Yeah, but I want to see that game reemerge on Switch and every console. I say it's time for a Skitchin' comeback.
It needs to keep its 90s vibe, though. Like, there's no way you re-release that without keeping everything intact. I don't want a remake. I want a remake.
Don't try to,
But I want it remade with 0 design changes.
Same. No, don't straight up remaster it. Don't try to modernize it. Don't try to make it relevant to today's no. It's got to be 90s as the original is. Mekel, have you played or heard of this game at all?
I have. Like, it threw me. I was like, wow, I haven't heard anyone talk about that in almost like 20 years.
Nice.
I was like, I used to go back and forth between that and Skate or Die on the NES. So.
Oh, nice.
Oh, my.
I love it. Yeah, no, Skitchin' just always stuck with me over the years for whatever reason. So it's kind of. Oh, I'm sorry for the daily.
They're
LA
coming to get you
going down
about
Skitchin'.
Yeah, I know.
Right? They're saying 290s. He's committed the crime of being 290s. We got to go pick him up.
No way. I would unabashedly pay an embarrassing amount of money for a special edition of a remake of Skitchin' that came with 3D Doritos and Crystal Pepsi.
Oh my god!
Straight up, they have my money as well, man. I hear that.
Completely off topic, but I would be really, really happy if EA decided to do something similar to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 and released SSX and SSX Tricky.
You're asking too much of EA.
I know I am. I know I am.
Anthem, man.
So nice.
I loved SSX and Tricky because I got a PS2 at launch and it really wasn't much else. So I was like, all right, I'll get this and Dead or Alive 2. And I enjoyed both games. I was shocked how much I enjoyed SSX. It had that nice arcade feel to it. And it's like, I'd be down for that. Again, I never played Beyond Tricky, but again, I had a good time with those games.
I remember the commercials for Tricky, and it was so catchy.
Oh god, because Tricky's just such a. Tricky's just a catchy song, so immediately getting sales.
And see, now this, of course, is leading me to think about how badly I want a new 1080 snowboarding and a new wave race, and this is just going to never end. All these great...
You're asking too much.
Yeah.
I am. I'm asking way too much. Also,
too high.
You guys in the chat are killing me here. Eddie Beale says Skitchin' 2, a Skitchin' time. Talking about how lewd Skitchin' sounds. Rob Arman X says they caught Ash Skitchin' in public. You guys are killing me with this. It's too good.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Well, since we're on the topic of weird, let's go ahead and bring up the next news story because I don't even know where to begin with this. So I'm just going to let this percolate. I'm just going to say it right as it appears. Konami is bringing Frogger to the Peacock streaming service for a reality competition series. Okay. Where do you go with that?
I heard this, and it makes... Okay, if they were making this an actual show, like a real Frogger, the TV show, as a scripted and all that, I'd be even more weirded out. But as a reality competition series, this makes sense in the same form as Wipeout. Let's have people who have these crazy things they have to accomplish set in the Frogger type world. Let's have them get run over by traffic. That's always fun. I think there is potential with this idea. I gotta say.
I mean, it's not that there isn't potential. It's more that it's just so emblematic of the whole of just how WTF Konami is in 2021 and 2020. I mean, just Konami, man, just give us what we want. Bring us your games, your IPs, and they might be doing that. There's reason to believe we might be getting Silent Hill announced pretty soon or something. But like, is this what anybody wants from Konami? Literally anybody.
I mean, it's progress because at least it's not a pachinko machine.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a low bar, but yeah.
A very low bar.
Yeah.
Dude, what happened to Konami, man? Like in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, they were killing it.
Yeah. I really I miss the Konami of the 90s. It would bring us like all the Warner Brothers cartoon, like the tie-in games that were actually really good, like Buster Busts Loose and the Animaniacs games, and like they were actually really good licensed titles. And I miss the Konami of those days and of the 2000s and Metal Gear Solid and Silent Hill. And but Frogger Reality Show on Peacock. Who watches Peacock, by the way?
I don't think Peacock's even has Peacock. No, Peacock has launched because that's the only place to get The Office now. I forgot about that. Their subscription is based on how much you want to watch The Office.
I think they also bought out the WWE Network.
What? Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you gotta have Peacock to watch wrestling.
Wow, wrestling, really?
Wrestling.
I haven't heard that.
I grew up watching wrestling, so I don't want to hear it.
I like Imposter's Take, who saying Frogger hops to it, which I assume is what you're saying would be a splash screen for Frogger if Frogger were ever announced.
Frogger's not going to get in Smash.
I could get behind that. No, maybe not my first choice, but that's more interesting to me than a reality TV series. Maybe this will be fun.
So you're thinking a reality TV series in terms of like Survivor, I think, Ash. You got to think in terms of like Wipeout or Most Extreme Challenge.
Well, no, I'm looking at Jeff Keighley's tweet here, and this is where this comes from. And he says challenges range from dodging traffic to leaping over snapping alligators to hopping over hungry hippos. No, I mean I get why this could have potential. I think I'm just salty that it's not even at the bottom of the list of things I want from Konami. It's like not even on the list. Mm-hmm. There's just so much I want from Konami.
I'm of the opinion it's Frogger. Who cares?
Sure.
What I really want to know is how fast is this traffic going that you have to dodge? I mean, I'll be real. I will tune in if it's some legit traffic. I'm not gonna lie. If somebody's like,
I mean, if it's LA traffic, they're not really gonna be moving at all. So
yeah. Exactly.
True.
So, I mean, are we talking 25 miles an hour? Are we talking real cars? Are we talking lethal speed? This will make the difference as to whether or not I have a Peacock subscription. Also, whether or not I...
So, the more lethal it is, the likelier you are to tune in, Steve? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I mean,
I won't disagree with that.
If somebody says, we are offering people like $8 and a Snickers to dodge cars going 75 miles per hour, I want to see what type of people sign up for this. I want to know what kind of individual says, yep.
There is Keighley has a sign up form, by the way, where you can apply for this show.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing.
I value my life too much to do it, but I really wish I knew someone who was going to.
Right.
We should sign up Ash.
I mean, he is in LA. Probably where it's being
filmed. A video out of it. They'd probably never let us, but I don't know if I want to give my life.
I don't know, man. You get murdered by a car is not good vibes. I would be a little sad.
Yeah, I was thinking of all the ways I could go out. Buy a car on a Frogger reality TV series is not necessarily my first choice. Or even
I feel like if it were me, it'd be at least a little on brand.
I guess that's true. Just have chicken on the other end.
Fair enough.
There we go.
Have The Rock host
I
the show.
do officially want to do one of those hot sauce challenges, though. Like, I've always wanted to do that.
Oh, man.
Or one of those, like hot pepper challenges. I've always wanted to do that.
You know what's funny? What popped up the other day in my Amazon recommendations was that Pocky One Chip Challenge. And I was like, man, now that we are freed... it is, so it's one tortilla chip. It comes in a coffin.
Don't do it.
Oh, I think I've heard of this.
Videos of people eating this, and it's like it is supposedly supposed to cause you immense pain. And I know the PR people that work for Pocky, and so I was like, man, how fun would it be if, like, around spooky season, we just decide to do this and try to get through an episode of TNT after eating one?
Oh God.
You know what? I'm in. I have always wanted to do a hot pepper challenge, so
well, yeah,
I'm in. If we can actually make that happen.
Real quick side GX anecdote. The last time we were all together, when we were together with John, I was desperately trying to get us over to like Howlin' Ray's, which is that crazy spicy chicken joint, so that Amy could film us all trying to make our way through it. And I remember, Ash, you and me, we were down. We were ready to go do it, and we just could not pull everyone at the same time together, so it fell apart. But next time we all get to go to E3, this is happening.
Yeah, Amy will film. She definitely won't eat. She'll be just looking at me like you're an idiot.
Hey, I'm in. Yeah, there's no way my wife would participate. She'd probably be like, if you want to, this is your death warrant. Sure, whatever you feel like you need to do, but I will have no part in this. Eddie Beal says, good vibes gastronomy. Nice. Also, I want to say thank you to everyone who have, plenty of you in the chat have been complimenting my and Steve's new haircuts. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Also, one of you went so far as to say that the sirens were coming to pick me up, the police coming to pick me up because my haircut looked too good. So I don't know about all that, but thank you very much.
I don't know. It's weird to see you guys with proper haircuts now.
I know, right?
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have all that hair. I can feel my neck.
I'm looking
again.
at you guys now. Look at mine. I was like, man, it's actually
again.
getting long. Maybe I should. Maybe it's time.
Yeah. The next step is to get it colored again. It used to be blue. I want to get it blue again. But then people started asking me if I wanted to. If I was trying to be like Ninja, and I'm like, no. I just wanted to have.
No. I told my wife the other day that I am waiting for the announcement of the next Sonic Mania, and I will progressively become more Sonic-like in each video I do about it.
Steve's becoming Sonic Man.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'll dye the beard blue because that would be terrible. And then I'll just put on the full onesie.
Nice. Oh God, Sonic 1. Okay. That's going to be an interesting video. Skulk and Tiger says I am now seeing they're now seeing end on my lag on my end. Yeah, I'm getting a little weird audio crackling in mine too. So maybe there's something going on with my internet. So sorry about that, guys. Hopefully it clears up. Well, with all this said, oh wait, Adam Davis, Ash looked like a stoner before. Not gonna lie. Thanks, Adam. I guess with my long hair, I look like a stoner.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
There you go.
But yes, thank you for all the good haircut vibes. With this said, let's go ahead and move on to our next story, which I am so excited about. And Derek, I know you are as well. We now know when the Sakurai presentation on Pyra and Mythra is happening. It's happening a week from tomorrow, Thursday, March 4th at 6 a.m. Pacific. And you know what? I'm not a morning person, but I sure as hell am for Sakurai. So I'm excited, man.
God, how early is that for you? For you?
3 a.m., right?
Yeah, Mekel.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's
true. It's 4 a.m. for you, isn't it?
4. No, because we might do spring forward, so it might be 3.
Oh man, that's terrible.
So,
well,
I'll be up for it,
but
yeah.
See, for me, I'm a weirdo and I'm a night owl, like a super night owl. So if I ever found out, hey, we have a Sakurai presentation at 3 a.m, I'd be partying in the streets, man. I'd be so happy. Yeah, so this is happening at 6 a.m. And Mekel, are you into Smash? And B, if so, how do you feel about Pyra and Mythra? What was your reaction to their reveal?
Okay, so day one Smash player since the N64 original.
Nice.
Love the franchise. Love the franchise. I think I rented that more from Blockbuster than almost anything, even Mega Man X2, which is my favorite Mega Man X game.
Okay, nice.
Okay, I was two-pronged with this reveal. One, the way they made it look, I was like, more Xenoblade Chronicles 2? Like, more DLC? I was hooked. And then when they did the announcement, I was so salty. Because I'm like, I want more Xenoblade. No, but I'm excited for the characters because I had a feeling that they were going to do more with Xenoblade. I did not think that they were going to bring in Rex because they made a Mii version of him. But then I was like, okay, and even if they did bring him in, he would be too much like, Shulk. So I was like, all right, so I can see them bring in Pyra and Mythra. At some point, please bring in Dante. Please make that happen. Anyway, but when I saw like the gameplay and how, Pyra and Mythra are so different in gameplay aesthetics and controls, I was like, man, I'm hyped for this. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I will be up at 3 a.m. Yep.
I am really hopeful for these two because, I'm a Zelda main right now, but I can very easily switch to being a Pyra Mythra main because, dear God, I love this game so much. And, they look fun just from that little snippet. And I'm totally down for another 35-minute presentation from Sakurai. They're always a lot of fun. We'll get a new set of Mii costumes. Curious what music they get to choose. They'll be choosing.
I hope they aren't floaty like Sephiroth.
Yeah, I don't think they will be. I don't know.
It's hard to say who would be lighter. Yeah, because Sephiroth's a pretty light character, but I can also see Pyra and Mythra being light as well. So I don't know.
Would they count the weight
as
of
Evernight
the
Studio
sword?
and Westegger mentioning the music? Yeah, I can't wait to find out what Xenoblade 2 music they're going to add, and I do wonder if they might even throw a few Xenoblade X tracks in.
At least Torno tracks. Get some Torno tracks in there.
Yeah.
I feel like there will be some Torno tracks. I'd be surprised if there weren't, honestly. Westegg
does point out
That's a good point.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she is. I remember those cutscenes now.
Oh, now that I think about it, yeah, they do mention how heavy. Okay, yeah, well then maybe they'll probably be heavier than Sephiroth, then I would imagine.
Be on a Bowser level of heavy.
When do we think Pyra is coming out after this?
A week later would be my guess.
I'm gonna say a week later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll trust y'all. I like Smash, but not nearly to the level you guys do. So if you guys say a week,
I'm gonna say a week later.
I'll go with it.
Yeah, either that or
a week later.
Thursday.
Yeah, well, yeah. I hope it's just not right after because, and I can go ahead and tease this now. We've been in talks with Roger, of course, our good friend Roger's Base, who we know is more hyped than anybody in the known universe about this, and he is going to join us for a
Chugga might be up there
discussion. I know, Derek. You're okay. So you and Roger are up there together as the most hyped.
Well, no, I'm saying Chugga.
Oh, Chugga. I think you said, okay, yes, Chugga as well. Right. Chugga, I know, is super into Xenoblade 2. So, yeah, but we're going to have Roger on right after the presentation to do a reaction discussion to the presentation. So, but I can see that if Pyra and Mythra came out right after, that would complicate things. So I'm hoping that it's at least a day after. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But that'll be a lot of fun. This is not... Oh, I guess I should mention also the presentation is going to be about 35 minutes long, so that's pretty normal. For a Sakurai presentation, and they have also confirmed there will be no new fighter announcements. I hate that they have to even confirm that. Of course, there are not going to be any new fighter announcements right after we just.
You know how people are.
I know, and I know why they have to do it. It's just like, come on. Rob Arman X did bring up a good point in the chat where it was given away for them when it said not actual gameplay footage at the very beginning of the trailer, and that's what happened with us too. With our reaction, we were like, oh. This is Smash, and I wondered a little bit
but then I started second guessing myself.
Yeah, exactly. But usually when it says that at the beginning, you're getting Smash, and I do wish they could. I know why they have to do it to protect themselves against frivolous lawsuits, but I wish they could drop that blur because imagine without that, we really wouldn't have known until the splash screen if it was Xenoblade 2 DLC or not. So.
Yep.
Wish that could be the case, but they got to protect themselves legally. Sorry, I'm getting some weird lag on my end. However, that is not the only Smash Bros. Ultimate news that has come out today. We also are getting a new Spirit event that starts on February 26th, so this Friday, and it's a Bravely Default 2 Spirit event. It's going to add 2 new spirits from, of course, Bravely Default 2. So I'm guessing they're probably going to pair the 4 main characters together, 2 in each spirit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That seems to be kind of what they're going to do. Yeah, so... as always, it'll be going for a week or so, so if you are trying to maintain a 100% full spirit collection, make sure to, play the game and grab those spirits while you can. I will certainly be doing so. I want to keep my spirit collection topped up. But yeah, Bravely Default 2. Any thoughts on this, Mekel? Have you been keeping up with all the spirits? Do you go in and get all the new ones when they're added?
I try to. I'm trying to get my wife to get into it as well, but yeah, it's,
nice.
It's a lost cause. But no, I'm definitely going to be all over this as soon as this happens. So cool. Definitely, and especially with Bravely Default, I love the Bravely Default franchise.
Nice. I need to actually sit down and play some of the games. I own the first two, but haven't had time to play.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as I've said, my hopes are high as someone who just adored Bravely Second. My hopes are high. I have some concerns based on the demos, but I still am excited because I, like you, Mekel, I love Bravely Default, even though I'm a little concerned about Bravely Default 2, certain aspects of it. I love what the series represents, and I love the aesthetics of it. Revo is back doing the music for Bravely Default 2, so I totally hear you, man. I'm pretty hyped. Nice. But yeah, well, let's go ahead and move on to our next news story. And Steve, man, I know as soon as I saw this, I knew this was going to be something you were going to be really excited about.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get that up on screen. Yeah, no, I knew you'd be super into this. So, an unused TV output feature has been discovered in the DS Lite 15 years later. Which, what? There was a TV output feature this whole time that
I'm sure there's a lot of. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the industry that would have been like, that would have been really freaking useful.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous the fact that this exists and hasn't been found. But it also in a weird way kind of makes sense because it's the feature. So I read up on this. The feature exists in the SoC that they used specifically for the DS Lite. So the DS Fat and the DSi don't have this. It's a feature that, for whatever reason, Nintendo left in production hardware. And interestingly, it's disabled just in software. So basically, when you turn on your DS Lite, it sends a command to turn this capability off. It gets a little more complicated because apparently, so they had to do a combination of software and hardware to make this work, but it's like a companion, like a dongle type of device that they created that lets you hook it up to a TV. So they hacked the DS Lite just to remove the command that turns off the capability at the hardware level, and then they created this like dongle that you plug into it after you've done that, and it just converts it to HDMI and lets you play it on your TV. Which, damn, this would have been cool to have. Like if Nintendo packaged up this hardware for even like, man, when the DS Lite was out, I was playing that thing so damn much. I would have killed for the ability to play it on my TV. I would have paid $100 extra just to get a dongle to play it on my TV. And like you said, all the folks that were working in the industry at the time, good Lord, how much easier your life would have been if you could have just captured your stuff officially without having to pay someone like, I think the prices back then to mod a DS were ridiculous,
insane.
Like $300 or something.
Yeah, I got into it with the 3DS, so didn't have to do it as much. But the interesting thing here is it only outputs the top screen. So you don't get both screens when you do this. You only get the top screen. So it's great for Game Boy Advance, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a really weird thing because, somebody said that you could, a weird cottage industry has popped up around snapping the tops off of DSs and turning them into Game Boy macros, as they call them. And people are saying that this is a cool, additional way to kind of make it Switch-like in a way where you could play it on your TV and still use it as a Game Boy. But, man, like, this is one of those cool things that it just... Why didn't you do it, Nintendo?
Right?
You had to try to make it not work.
Yeah.
You had to select a part that supported this and then disable it. I mean, and it very well may just come down to that. We know with the Switch, for instance, that Nintendo picked an off-the-shelf, ready-to-go part for their system on a chip, in the NVIDIA Tegra. And I don't know enough about what is powering the DS Lite to know if it was something custom or off-the-shelf. Nintendo used a lot of custom hardware back then. The Wii was entirely custom. I have a hard time believing the DS isn't custom because that's just where Nintendo's design philosophies were at. So if it is custom, it's real weird that they designed it that way. and then we're like, oh, we'll just turn it off in software. Like somebody really wanted the DS Lite to work on a TV, and then they were like, forget it, that's too good. Like, we'll just get rid of it. It seems like such an odd choice, or maybe it's just a development feature. They built it into the system on a chip for development purposes, because as we all know, when you go to industry events, or rather when you used to, right? Back in the day when the DS line was still a thing, we'd go to these industry events and they had all these DSs that could output video.
Right.
Because they wanted us to capture video, and they know that we can't do that. So Nintendo would typically have these special DS units set out that had capture capability. So maybe it was just they designed it knowing that they would want outlets to be able to capture.
I still don't know why Nintendo didn't make that available to industry people.
It's so weird. All they would have had to do was produce a few dongles and then send a special DS with firmware on it. And again, if you've ever been on the receiving side of a review unit, it's not like they send you a coupon until you go to the store and get one. They control what unit you get, so they could send you one that is technically just a little bit different from what goes on shelves. Yeah, it's very, very weird. It's super, super cool that this exists, and it really makes me want to find my DS Lite and mod it to try this, because this would be really, really cool. And I still have tons of love for the DS, for its library, but aside from this, there's no real reason to go from the 3DS back to this. I love the DS Lite. It's in my opinion, the height of Nintendo's industrial design. It is the best looking console they've ever made. And that's counting home consoles and portables.
Wow.
But, well, I mean, what is better looking than the DS Lite?
You got me there.
I mean, I would posit that the Switch is actually a really nice looking console, especially the Switch Lite. But I'm not better than the DS Lite.
Yeah, I was about to say the Switch Lite, I agree, is beautiful, but I think the DS Lite has this nice elegance to it that the Switch doesn't have. I think the Switch, the current the full blown Switch, it's ugly. I'm just gonna be real with you. It is a great piece of kit. It's a wonderful piece of hardware, but it ain't nice to look at. None of these current gen consoles are nice to look at. PS5's ugly. Series X is ugly. My PC is ugly.
The PS5 looks great. I know I'm in the minority there. I love the PS5's design. I know it's extra. I know it's too big. It's but I just like it.
Okay, but real talk, from a strictly aesthetic perspective, which looks better, the PS5 or the Wii?
Wii.
Some minimalist
the Wii is just very. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because the Wii to me is forgettable design wise, but it's good in that it's minimalist and small and sleek, and that's cool. I don't know. I like how attention grabbing and look at me and obnoxious the PS5. It's super futuristic.
I'm not saying I don't
actually really like it.
To be clear, I'm engaging in hyperbole by calling everything ugly. I think the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and even the Switch look nice, but when I compare them to my favorite things of all time, they don't even come close.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Hey, you're talking to someone who aesthetically loves the GameCube, so consider the source. I think the GameCube is still one of the coolest looking consoles ever. So, my taste might just be a bit different, but. Hey, it has a handle. You could bring it to a friend's house with a handle.
I unironically love the Dreamcast and the GameCube and the N64 in terms of their design. So different strokes for different folks, man.
Yeah.
What about you?
For sure.
I mean, Ash and I have been here battling. What's the rest of the panel think? What are our favorite console designs?
It's something I don't think about too much, honestly, because it's that initial impression, and then it's just like, well, it's part of the TV system, and I don't have to really worry about it anymore. It's just like, there it is. So it's not one of those things I think about too often, but original PS2, I honestly like the look of that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
I like it too.
I'm gonna go retro and say the TurboGrafx 16.
Ooh,
I like the
was
look
nice.
of that.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, I do. I want to point out one of my favorite hardware designs: the PS Vita, the original PS Vita.
Ooh, yeah, I still got
mine.
It's still absolutely gorgeous with the OLED display. That's one of my favorite gaming hardware designs of all time, the original Vita.
I will say that I love how it looks, but functionally, it is one of my least favorite designs. Only because that back touchpad, man, like I was always touching that damn thing.
Yeah.
Like I'd be playing Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and I was like one of 4 people that played that game, and I'm like, why am I doing special moves? I don't get it. And I'd realize my fingers would just naturally come to rest on that touchpad while I was playing. Putting a touchpad on the back. Who does that?
Yeah.
Sony.
Fair enough. Well, with that said, that was our last news story of the day. So that brings us to the near the end of the show. But of course, as always, before we go ahead and sign out, Mekel, please tell our wonderful audience where they can find you, man.
All right. So you guys can catch me. I'm on youtube.com/Mekel Kasanova. I also stream on twitch.tv/Mekel Kasanova, or you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram. Same thing. So whatever the URL is, and then Mekel Kasanova, and also my website, mekelkasanova.com.
Very awesome. Cool.
I love
thank you again for joining us for today's show.
I know.
Sorry?
Thank you.
Got that on lockdown.
I try. My wife was like, across the board, simplicity. Just get one thing and go with that. She's like, she even came up with the name too. So I was like, all right, cool. We'll go with that.
Nice.
I mean, you gotta love Casanova, so that's nice.
I was gonna say, if that came from your wife, that's great. I mean, you certainly want your partner to give you the name Casanova. So
I mean, I was just gonna go with just Mekel. She's like, no, look, we're gonna add that. I was like, okay, where is this from? She's like, a manga I was reading. Okay, fine.
Nice. That's okay.
Whatever.
It works.
Well,
love it.
Dude, thank you again for being on the show on such short notice. It's been a pleasure having you, and you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah.
Man, I would love to come back on, and same thing. I would love to have you guys on my show as well. This has been a true blast.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, drop me a DM anytime. I'd love to come on the show anytime, and would love to do more stuff together.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, then, with that said, it's about time for us to wrap up here. But as always, we do have to give a huge thank you to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to make this show happen. Because without your support, it would not be happening. So thank you a million times from the bottom of our hearts for helping to make this show happen. But also, as always, an extra special massive thank you to all our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine folks include, here we go, Jonathan Belmare, Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Dan Entwistle, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, Floating Mew, Aiko Carroll, Christopher, The D-Pad, Guillaume Monet, Vesmio, Waffle King, Nick Waterman, Jesse M, aka Kitty Kong Facts, Angel Martinez, Vedhotik, Makalau, John, Joshua Hunter, Evernight Studio, Benny Yao, Shadow the Cat, Azran127, Kinrule09, Jake Pelka, Geller, Shiny Turkey, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Charlie Bird, Lucky Wonderfish, Top Dog 23100, Brooke, Young Ben Kenobi, Charles Zaz, Douglas Chomix, Andrew Medeiros, Aurum, Brady Power, Phantom 23, Scott Barber, Patrick Harrison, Rocks the Cat, Loyal Dingo, Flaming Highwayman, Sean Garrett, The Legend of Groose, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, West Egg, Master Lynx, Sean Davis, Deaneth, Jackson Jordan, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Ashish Joshi, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Hoobie, Marcos Conchas, Wolf X Flake and Moon Macarons, Kane, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, The Game Ord, Dano the Artist, Synchro Lord, Brainchild, Rosa Pardo Bowling.
Hi, Mom.
That never gets old. Dark Umi 87, The Flying Tacos, Scuff 196, Naughty Senpai, and a new tier, or sorry, a new patron at the executive producer level who just upgraded their pledge, Skull Kid Tiger. Thank you so much, Skull Kid Tiger, and welcome to the EP crew.
Indeed.
And finally, Andrew. So, as always, thank you all so much for your support. If you would like to, you can head over to patreon.com/gbgaming, where you can support us at various different tiers, ranging from as little as $1 a month, which gets you access to our amazing Discord community, to all the way up to $400, but that's way up there. You can also join our live audience tier for $5 a month, where you can interact with us during every Today's News Tonight, as well as our special guests throughout the show. So, regardless, though, whether you support us on Patreon or you don't, and you just drop a like and subscribe here, we love you all the same. Your support means the world to us, and we will see you next time for Today's News Tonight on Friday. And until then, good night and good vibes, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.